Hello and welcome, and we have a special treat lined up for you during IPL 2023. That's because all of you have gotten too accustomed to playing fantasy cricket. But if you really want to challenge yourself, we have another game that you can participate, and that's live and exclusive only on the AajTak app and the AajTak website. My friend Vibhor is with us, and every time I get stuck explaining what the entire game is all about, he's going to help me out because he's really worked from scratch in building up that product for us. So firstly, where is it that you can play it? You need to go either download the AajTak app or go to sportstuck.in
website. Sportstuck.com mobile website.
You can go to that. It's not available on desktop yet?
Not yet, coming soon.
Coming soon. So on desktop also it's coming, but on the mobile site it's, as he said, sportstuck.com. It's available, or just download the app. You can do it like that. So this is just a regular screenshot of the app. And where will they find it if they go to the app? There it is.
Cricket Stock Exchange.
The game is called Cricket Stock Exchange. You click on it and then you can play. So it pretty much, the basic of it is like fantasy cricket, where you have a wallet where you deposit money, your own wallet, and then you can play accordingly as you go forward, and then you have financial gains to make after that if you are in the top winners that end up at the end of the day, right?
Right. So the basic concept is that we have tried to get best of both the stock exchange and IPL to get the cricket stock exchange. The concept here is that for each player, based on their initial auction value, we have determined a base stock price.
So just to show you, let's take, for sample, we've taken Punjab Kings, right? Now each player will have a value here,
which is the base stock price.
Yeah. So remember, the base stock price is only initially because the games are just starting, and just like the stock market, we've given a base stock price to every player, because if you go to a stock market, there are values attached to each stock. But how do you give a value to a player before the season is started? There is a methodology there. It's based on the amount of money that was paid to them in auctions, right?
That is
so
right.
Auction, it's not exact same value, but we've taken the auction value and done a bit of math. What you need to do is not burden yourself with that math, but a value is given. So for example, here are all the players. These are all valued at 200, but it keeps going in a decreasing order. So later you will have players with less value. So these are all at 200. What are the various values that you'll have?
So you could go from a maximum of 500 to a low of 100. So all of our star players like Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, they would be on the higher end of the spectrum. 500 or closer to 500. And all of these uncapped players who are still getting to make a debut, they will be closer to 100.
Okay, so now the value is just treated as a stock. Each player is a stock. The best stock would be at 500 and the lowest is at 100, and then everyone else will be in the middle. Now we've given this value based on their auction price or what teams decided to spend on them. So that's where it starts. But what is the game, you're going to ask? The game is every match you got to predict the top 3 gainers, as in who you think will gain the most in terms of their stock value, and you need to predict the top 3 losers as the ones that will have the biggest drop. So that's the game. If you get all the 6 right, then that's a jackpot and you get money accordingly. Am I correct?
Yeah,
so far?
that's right.
Okay, so just to let you know, this is how it's going to look like. So on the game day, you go to, let's say, KKR versus Delhi Capitals, and you will, this is at the end of the game.
Yeah, after the game, you can see who the top 5 gainers are, top 5 losers are. And when you scroll down, you could see your predictions. So for example, if you had picked up 3 players, you could see what was the starting base price and what is the closing price, and if that matches with what we have on the top 5 gainers and losers, you stand a chance to win the prize.
So just based on this sample that they've made, if you had predicted these players, we've just given the same name, but your 3 players, the gain is, so we're always going to look at the percentage gain. Now remember, just to explain to you, the values are different, right? Now let's take an example. There is a 500 value player whose stock price is 500 because he was paid a lot of money at the auction, and then someone is at 100. I'm just looking at top to bottom. Now points are given on the basis of their performance. So just like fantasy cricket, where you have points for a wicket, a direct throw, a catch, a 6, a 50, a 30, points are given just like that. But what that does is we don't see the total number of points. what makes this very different is there, if I pick a Virat Kohli and he gets, let's say, 200 points, most people would do that because a Virat Kohli is expected to. But the game is, if you pick a lesser known player, let's say like a Tushar Deshpande, and he gets 200 points. But what this does is this actually now looks at your skill. You're not just looking at overall performance, how many runs or how many points. What you see is 200 points for Virat Kohli, but if his value is 500, then 200 points if he gains, his gain of the share will be, let's say, 10%, hypothetically 10%, which is not a big gain. Similarly, there's another player whose value was 100, much lower, but he got less points than Virat Kohli, let's say 150. But 150 for a 100 value player, if he gets 150 points, then he's given a better return of investment, which means his gain is not going to be 10% as I said for Virat, it will be, let's say, 20%. So you're looking at percentage gain. What makes this game very different is it's not just the total number of points, but it's the number of points got by which player. Lesser known player, 100 point is fantastic prediction. Bigger player, 100 point, not such a great prediction. So this is where your acumen comes in, and if you're a smart cricket analyst, this is where you need to test yourself. Anything you want to add, Vibhor?
No, I think you have covered everything. Just like a real stock market, the stocks can move up or down based on how they perform during the match. If a player performs extremely well, they're likely to hit an upper circuit, which is plus 20%, or if they perform really badly, they'll go down to minus 20%. So the range is plus 20 to minus 20, in which the players can oscillate during a particular match day.
Okay, so maximum gain is 20% on return of investment, and the maximum you can drop is also 20%. So it ranges from this only. But the trick is to predict which stock will grow the most in terms of percentage. Okay, in terms of percentage. So sometimes it will be a good idea to pick a lesser known player, because even if he gets little bit of points, his percentage increase will be more. At the end of the day, we are only going to look at percentage increase. So there is a possibility that one player got 100 and the other got 30, let's say even with the same strike rate, but his value is so less that for him 30 pushes his stock much higher, and the other guy, his value is so high that 100 will keep it just about where he is. So his value might increase 10%, someone who got 30 at the same strike rate, but because his value was so low, he might get a 20% rise. So you want to pick for unusual bet.
Yeah, so it's a combination of on-field performance versus ROI of what teams have already paid for.
Correct. So that's what you need to do. Not very complicated. Once you go to the app, you'll try and understand. This is the
and you have a wallet there. If you end up as one of the lucky winners, you can see the wallet balance, which keeps accumulating your prize money, and you can instantly redeem the prize money if you want to, or you can continue to accumulate it towards the end of the season.
You know what? I'm going to say something before. For someone like me, as a cricket nut, I'm going to play this. I used to play fantasy cricket earlier, not in the current avatar. The current avatar, all apps have made it very simple because they want to target the masses. The earlier avatar of fantasy, when it just came about, was a very complicated way of playing fantasy, where you just had limited substitution, and for making a team, the budgets were so tight that you had to pick less. But that is what I enjoyed, because you had to put a lot of mind to it and actually differentiate it between different level of analysis. Now it's like open for all. You can pick all the top stars in your team, and budgets allow you to do that. But now finally I have a product which will actually get me to think. I will spend some time and pick. So if you're a cricket nut, my advice is this is something that you will play, and you will enjoy the fruits of it if you spend time and your predictions come right.
Yeah, that's our intent. And you should think about it like a typical stock portfolio. Each team will have a mix of large cap, mid cap, small caps. How do you define your portfolio, and where do you place your bets? I think it's a combination of cricket acumen and what do we see in our real life stock markets. So the challenge is open for all. Okay,
what are you waiting for? AajTak app is what you need to download, or go to the mobile website. For the moment, from Vibhor and I, bye.
Bye.